What do you think that this also could be? I'm saying could be a case of the Indian government caught off guard. Obviously, the surveillance agreements which US and India have, they very well knew that there was a US submarine moving under the sea. And did the government not know that apparently they could have reacted in this manner? They could have attacked Iris Dana like this?
If Indian government was caught off guard just a few kilometers from its official border, then it's a major security lapse, intelligence lapse. Then heads must roll, both at political level and military intelligence level, establishment level. How can Indian government say that we were unaware? There's a war going in an area. You have been dragged in a war, and you say we were unaware. In this day and age, where you have agreements of sharing the intelligence with USA, is USA not following up on those agreements? Has it completely demolished India's stature as a sovereign nation? It doesn't even deem fit to follow up on its agreement and share intelligence with India. And what is India's own intelligence doing? A submarine stealthily comes into waters which are next to Indian border, and we are unaware. We are talking of national security. This time, the target was Iranian vessel. Iranian vessel is one thing. Iran was our guest, friendly nation. Modi has done a U-turn, surrendered on that front. That's one thing. Other thing is, it's a major intelligence failure. How does naval establishment be? How can naval establishment be unaware of what is happening right outside our borders? Especially when we are responsible for the entire Indian Ocean, and we are for the last 15 years almost. We have been asserting our rights in the entire Indian Ocean, and the world has been accepting it. Suddenly you turn around and say, oh, we are no more superpower. We are no more responsible for Indian Ocean. We are only responsible for our own waters. Why has Modi surrendered the claim of India in the entire Indian Ocean? Then he has to answer this. You cannot have Indian government suddenly surrendering the claim of India and the role of India, which is of a superpower in the Indian Ocean, and confining yourself only to your waters. This is a major climbing down by the Modi government, and this is what the government has to be held accountable for this.
I don't know how this accountability is going to be held, like, but what you said was very important that heads must roll if they have this intelligence information, and even then they could not inform Iran. But coming to the relationship with Iran, Gurdeep, do you think that after this episode, will Iran ever trust India again?
As long as Narendra Modi is there, no country of the world is going to trust India again. Because Narendra Modi has given up of India's position as a sovereign nation which had its own voice in international affairs. This is a war between US, Israel, and Iran. It's not India's war. Yet Narendra Modi has taken a position that he is only with one side. And this position is abrupt. As I said, till 25th of February, the day he visited Israel, Iran was a friendly nation of India, participating in joint naval exercise. And within one day, without having any discussion in India, without taking parliament into confidence, a prime minister takes a unilateral U-turn, and suddenly India's position as an independent nation is compromised, and we are only seen as we are holding on to tailcoats of USA. So, what do you think? Will any nation take us seriously? Our guest, who was in India on Indian invitation as a friend, is attacked. Nearly 100 of their naval forces have died. And it is 1.5 days. Modi government has not even expressed any condolences.
No, even today there was no word on
So,
this.
so, so why, what is Modi afraid of? What will happen if India expresses condolences to those sailors who have died? What will happen? Will America nuke India? This is not a question of strength. It is a question of eroding moral strength of Narendra Modi. He does not have any moral strength to stand up to Trump and say what is to be said. It is the same Trump which has been humiliating India again and again in his current tenure. It is same Trump who chained Indian illegal migrants and sent them back to India. It is same Trump which has been mocking Narendra Modi that I can ruin his career. It is same Trump which slaps tariffs, highest tariffs on India. It is same Trump which says, I will not give you any tariff, but you have to give me tariff. Continuous insults. Trump has not proven to be a friend in last 1 year. Trump has been our worst adversary in last 1 year. He has been hitting India's economic interest. It has been hitting India's national pride. He has been putting our people in chains and sending them back. And Narendra Modi is siding with that Trump. He's siding with that Donald Trump. He's not spoken a single word in response to what Donald Trump has done in last 1 year, and still standing with them. So, do you think such a leadership will get any respectable response from the Committee of Nations, from international leadership? He's
Right.
not going to get any respect now. India, even when it was a poor country, even when it was not a nuclear power or a space power or an economic power, even then we had a voice. When wrong happened, we said there's wrong is happening. And that is why India had good relations with Israel, Philistine, Iran, Iraq, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, all at one time. That is why Indian workers and Indian economic interests were there in all these countries. It was not that we were sending our workers or we were having our projects uh, in one set of countries and we were not in other set of countries. We were there because we were seen as a moral force. We could talk to everyone at same time. Modi has surrendered that. And for what? It is very clear he's compromised. Otherwise, why has he surrendered? Why has he lost his voice? What would have today the foreign secretary goes and signs the condolence book after so many days because there was pressure. But why did India not condole the death of Ayatollah Khamenei when it happened?
No, but
Why
Gurdeep,
has
what did you
Narendra Modi
say?
lost his voice?
No, but Narendra Modi today on the sixth day of the war has said, even, I mean, only when the Finland president is in India, he says that India believes in rule of law, dialogue, and diplomacy. Now, what does he actually mean when you juxtapose it with what happened yesterday with Irene Dana?
Well, now these are all hollow words. Where is rule of law and diplomacy when you are just siding with one side when it is not your war? Still, it's not India's war. Diplomacy means that you take a moral position and you use diplomatic channels to address both the sides when you are trying to negotiate. But when Narendra Modi has chosen one side over other, how can he play a diplomatic role now? How can India play a diplomatic role? By picking up your sides, Narendra Modi has already surrendered that role. So these are mere words now. These words do not carry any weight. These words only means that he's just giving headlines to the pliable Indian media, the international media, and International Committee of Nations has stopped taking him seriously. And this is not happening for the first time. Let us recall when Operation Sindoor was going on. There was a voting. There was voting for the chair of Security Council. Pakistan was contesting it. 182 countries supported Pakistan, and only two countries supported India against Pakistan.
Yeah.
Precisely at the time when 5 teams of senior leaders and parliamentarians were visiting various nations, putting out India's point of view. And all those nations vote for Pakistan as head of Security Council. This is a reality check. Let's not forget it's not
Yeah.
too far in history which has happened. It's just few months back. And now he has just given up on India's strategic position in the Indian Ocean region, and also he has betrayed Iran as a friend. This was Iran. Iran was not just any other nation. You just see the map of Asia. Have you ever seen it? How do we go to Afghanistan? We have our interest in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
We cannot go through Pakistan. We cannot go through POK. We cannot go through China. The only route available was Iran. And now Iran, you have taken a position against Iran. Now India cannot even enter Afghanistan. India cannot take care of its interest in Afghanistan. There's no way, no route. You have just pushed your friendly borders by 4,000 kilometers away. What type of strategic planning is this? What type of diplomacy is this?
Right. So, two quick questions before I wind up the interview, Gurdeep. That do you think that Narendra Modi willingly has walked into Donald Trump and Netanyahu's trap because India wasn't dragged in the real sense into this Middle East turmoil, but now India is part of this.
Now we can say very clearly two things that happened were a precursor to this. One, when Sergio Gore and Paparo is the naval commander of the US Pacific Command. They visited our command center in Chandi Mandir near Chandigarh. And B, Prime Minister Modi went to Israel and suddenly he took a U-turn. How and why did Prime Minister of India take a U-turn without discussing it with anybody else? Part B, suddenly he picked up a phone in the first week of February, that was 2nd February, and surrendered India's trade interest to Trump. And on 2nd of February, he agreed that India will not buy Russian oil. This was on 2nd February. And Trump then set up a committee to monitor. Whereas in January, it was known that Trump is going to attack Iran. He is preparing. And the entire establishment, be it the Indian security establishment or the bureaucratic establishment, they knew very well that if and when this war happens, the Strait of Hormuz will be the first casualty. Iran will stop traffic from there. And knowing very well, knowing this very well, why did Narendra Modi sign up or agree to USA demand that India will not buy Russian oil? Knowing very well that in next few weeks, the situation can emerge, and it was very likely that it would emerge, that Strait of Hormuz will be closed and we will have an oil crisis. Yet Prime Minister Modi went and surrendered before Donald Trump. So these three things very clearly indicate that Prime Minister Modi is under pressure. He's compromised. He's trying to wriggle out some help from either Israel or Donald Trump. So first trade deal, and now India's strategic position and role in Indian Ocean, and our independent position in the world affairs. All three things he has surrendered in last 4 weeks.
But my last question to you, Gurdeep, is that since this entire crew, which was on board Dana, this Iranian warship, this was basically a ceremonial crew which was traveling. They were unarmed. Now, in the wake of this reality, if a torpedo was used by the US warship and it has happened in the knowledge of, we are presuming that it has happened in the knowledge of India because India very well knew that there was a US submarine floating under Indian Ocean. Do you think that this is tantamount to a crime which cannot be pardoned ever in life?
I'm not talking of moral position here. And I'm not saying whether India knew or didn't know. If India didn't know, it's a violation of agreement signed with USA. If India did not know, it's a abject failure of our intelligence that we did not know what is happening right near next to our borders. And if India knew, it allowed that attack to happen on Iranian vessel. All three situations are unpardonable. And I'll not be surprised if under the international law, once the war is over, even Indian government is pulled up in the International Court of Justice at Hague, because this is not what we are
So,
supposed to
good
do.
point. Yeah.
We may come to that. So, A, Donald Trump, if he has violated the agreement, we are not expressing any displeasure as a country. B, if Donald Trump has violated the agreement, what was our intelligence doing? C, If he has not violated the agreement and has given us intelligence beforehand, then why did India not share it with Iran? Because Iran was on a peace mission. It was a peacetime journey to India. On India's invite, that vessel was guest of India, and we
Right.
allowed that vessel to be sunk. In
The most
any
important
situation, we cannot exonerate the Modi government of the guilt that has been there, the crime that has been there.
the most important point which you made towards the end was that post this Iran-Israel war, India could face a trial at Hague. That's what you're saying.
Well, this is not improbable now, because
Yes,
because because once you took up a the role of net security provider in Indian Ocean, then you are supposed to give that security to Iranian vessel, because India has taken up that role, and that role has been granted by the international community to India,
that's true.
because India was seen as a powerful naval force in Indian Ocean. It's not that we were offering that without any reason. As in 2008, since 2008, almost 100 warships have been deployed in Indian Ocean in international waters. Why were they deployed if we had nothing to do with it? So since 2008, we have helped some 3,000 vessels in Indian Oceans, in international waters, and suddenly in this one case, we are saying we are not bothered. So we have given up on our claim built since 2008. Why has Narendra Modi let government of India's claim as a superpower in Indian Ocean go away like this? It's an abject failure. We are coming across as a helpless, weak nation out of this. We were supposed to protect, and we were also supposed to do humanitarian aid once it was attacked. And we are also supposed to raise it with USA that how can you target a friend which was here on our invite, which was not on a military mission.
Right.
It's not a
So we have
moral
to,
question. It's a
right.
strategic question. It's a question of national importance.
Right. And I hope Prime Minister Modi is able to give these answers. Well, that's a question which remains. But today, on the sixth day of the war, he's chosen to say that India believes in dialogue and diplomacy. And on the sixth day, we have Vikram Misri signing the condolence book as far as Khamenei's murder is concerned. So there are a whole lots of questions which still remain as far as this US, Israel, and Iran war is concerned. Thank you so much, Gurdeep, for joining on HW News. Thank you.